Kate is the quintessential English rose. She went to private schools. She was never a feminist in the way Meghan is. She never was outspoken. Meghan, on the other hand, is a driven girl. She came from a totally different kind of family. It was dysfunctional, her parents were divorced, and Meghan had to strive for everything that she got. So they're two very, very different characters.
I think Catherine Cambridge has been impeccable. She's very stylish. Oh, she's very measured. She doesn't have a big personality, and she doesn't have the big ego to go with the big personality.
It does seem that Kate is a much more natural fit. Obviously, she's from the United Kingdom, highly educated, beautiful woman. And the same is to be said for Meghan, but in a completely different way when it comes to culture.
Oh, Meghan's done an awful lot right. She's very charming, she's apparently very down-to-earth, she's got dignity. Whatever her failings, she's got dignity.
I don't really understand why there's really any negative press surrounding Meghan. She seems to do a very, very good job, but there are a number of people, and it seems to be quite aggressive, either pro or against Meghan.
The press was quick to focus in on the differences between the two duchesses.
In the media, they were pitted against each other. One quite loud, outspoken, ambitious, American, and then the shy, retiring English rose. And I think it's sort of very convenient for the media to sort of pit these two women against each other.
Meghan's been passionate about her favourite causes since childhood.
As a young girl, Meghan was always outspoken. I think she knew exactly where she wanted to go. She had a very clear idea of what was right and what was wrong. I think there was a sort of an ingrained moral compass.
In 2015, she spoke at the United Nations Women's Conference to promote gender equality. But since becoming a royal, protocol has dictated that Meghan can't air her views as freely.
She knows that she's got to worry about what she says to whom, but that's pretty hard. If you've been open, quick, clever, American actress, and then suddenly you have to think, I have to think twice if I say this to this person. That's quite a lot of responsibility for one person who, after all, is living in a country she wasn't born in.
She's a strong, independent woman whose views are going to be very difficult to change, and that's where she's going to clash with members of the royal family and the royal household if she doesn't conform and do as she's told. Who would want to be a princess? Who would want to be a duchess?
However, Meghan has found outlets for her social conscience, including in the aftermath of the Grenfell Tower fire. She made several visits to a West London charity, where women affected by the tragedy come together to cook for the local community.
She went down to see the hub kitchen. She immediately thought of an idea of a cookbook.
The cookbook Meghan helped inspire was published last September, with the aim of raising money to help continue the project's work.
I said in the foreword that this is more than a cookbook. And what I mean by that is the power of food is more than just the meal itself. It is the story behind it.
It was a huge success, raising enough money to expand that project, have a new kitchens put in, increase the amount of meals that they could provide.
Press coverage has been fantastic.
But despite the positive impression Meghan was making through her charity work, reports on the royal feud have recently been emerging on a near-daily basis. But are they true? Or have the press exaggerated the story to sell more newspapers?
Here we have a very mixed-up country, slightly divided country, to know where we should go next. And then there's the dream, the absolute dream, a right royal knockabout. If you were an editor, which would you like to put on your front page? Which do you think would sell newspapers?
The media today is driven by social media and internet coverage. I think that a lot of rumours about Kate and Meghan are manufactured to sell newspapers. An editor in Canary Wharf actually said to me, "We've never let the truth get in the way of a good story." And I think there's an element of that with Kate and Meghan, this rivalry of two sisters. It's just too good a story not to print.
But journalist Carol Malone disagrees. With decades of tabloid experience, she says that rumours about the royal rift are likely to have come from inside Kensington Palace.
The media, contrary to popular belief, do not make up stories. The fact of the matter is we hear things, we get told things. And the fact, people always say, oh, well, you haven't named anybody. Well, of course we haven't, because you can't name some of the people that are saying derogatory things about Meghan because they would be fired. I get asked a lot, you know, who does the leaking of stories from inside the palace and inside various organisations? Well, the fact is, disgruntled people do the leaking. People who think stories should be out in the public domain do the leaking. People who get upset that one picture is being portrayed and it's not the whole picture.
And recently, royal correspondent Katie Nicholl published yet another shocking revelation about the royal feud.
I was told that the underlying tensions, the rift was actually between William and Harry. You know, the brothers with the unbreakable bond. They were a brilliant team together, but they were also fiercely competitive. Often that's quite friendly competition, joshing over who's losing their hair the fastest. But I think there is an underlying competition between the boys, and there have certainly been instances of sibling rivalry.
How much inter-service rivalry is there between you two?
None at all.
No, not at all, really.
I mean, everyone knows the army's better than the
I'm an old
RAF.
cavalry boy anyway, so it's fine. There's good bands between army pilots and RAF pilots, obviously, as well.
They'll joke about who hasn't done the washing up, or, you know, William will have a go at Harry for eating him out of house and home. But actually, a rift over his choice of bride is far more serious.
Katie Nicholl's article also claimed there was a fallout between the brothers when Harry accused William of not doing enough to welcome Meghan into the family. She also says that William tried to warn Harry off marrying Meghan.
William was quite concerned that the relationship had moved so quickly, and being close to Harry, you know, probably the only person close enough to say to Harry, you know, this seems to be moving quickly, are you sure? And I think what was meant as, you know, well-intended brotherly advice just riled Harry. Harry is hugely protective of Meghan. He saw that as criticism. He interpreted that as his brother not really being behind this marriage, this union, and I don't think things have been quite right ever since.
Other royal commentators claim that if Harry and William have drifted apart, it could be down to Meghan's influence.
Everything I hear is that Harry is completely beguiled by Meghan and completely enthralled to her and has changed considerably. People do change when they get married.
And before Harry met Meg, he was around at Kensington Palace. He was eating with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. He was very much a part of their family. And then suddenly he meets Meghan and falls in love, and he's off. So he's sort of suddenly out of their lives, and there may have been some resentment.
As speculation continued to grow, all eyes were focused on Buckingham Palace. The royals haven't forgotten the divisions caused when another American woman married into the family. Would the Queen now be forced to step in herself to broker the peace?
These are two really important couples, and so, you know, any discord, the Queen will realise better than anyone else, could have real negative repercussions for the family, and she'll want to avoid that at all costs.